Sam Jones, I love being in this chair and interviewing you about your film, your documentary that you made, because for me it's a totally different way of looking at you. You and I have worked together for a long time. We've worked at Vanity Fair for years, recent covers, and yet it seems to me that filmmaking is really, it's kind of where everything comes together for you.
I've never been someone that could be a one-track mind. I'm a photographer, and that's all I do. I love music. I've played in bands. I love filmmaking. And making a documentary where I get to be the camera person and I get to sort of be the interviewer and the editor, and I get to put the story together, to me, it's the most exciting thing and the most challenging, for sure.
How did it all come about?
I got a call from Larry Jenkins, who works with Bob Dylan and T-Bone Burnett, and he said, we want you to hear about this super secret project where some lost Bob Dylan lyrics were found, and we're going to give those lyrics to some artists, and they're going to make a new record. And immediately I said, well, can I tell the story of the Basement Tapes in 1967 too, to give context to these lyrics? And they were all on board for that idea.
When you get a call from Dylan's person and T-Bone, did you think for a second, like, are you being cranked? Why me? Like, did that at all surprise you? Because that seems pretty big in and of itself.
Yeah, as my wife said, they had you by your Achilles heel the minute they called, because no matter what the terms were, you were going to make the film. And it's true. I've loved Bob Dylan forever.
And tell me about who's in it.
Okay, so there is Elvis Costello, Marcus Mumford of Mumford and Sons, Rhiannon Giddens, Taylor Goldsmith of Dawes, and Jim James of My Morning Jacket.
And also, we should say the Basement Tapes are...
The Basement Tapes started in 1966, 67, after Dylan got off this crazy world tour, and then he had a motorcycle accident. And he was starting a family, so he just holed up in Woodstock, New York with the band, and they had this crummy pink rental house, and they would go in the basement and just hit record and record pretty much everything they did, which was actually revolutionary. It sounds today like something that every band does, but at that time, if you were going to make any kind of recording, you went into a studio. You didn't bring stuff to a house. And so they started that whole thing.
And then the actual lyrics that you guys are working with are stuff that Dylan himself hadn't even seen really since he wrote them, right?
Yeah, it's fascinating how there was this treasure trove of their legal sheets, like yellow paper, handwritten lyrics.
Yeah, they have doodles on them.
Doodles,
and everything.
There's like little math equations, like he was figuring out a tip at some point in a restaurant or something. And they're fascinating documents, but there was 24 sets of these lyrics that none of them had any chords written on them or anything. So they were wide open to interpretation, and somebody put them away, and they were forgotten about and lost in the shuffle.
It's incredible.
And the strange thing, the time machine quality of this film is that you have a 26-year-old Taylor Goldsmith collaborating with Bob when he was writing at age 26.
Miami woman, so fine and fair. I try, but I can't get anywhere.
There's plenty of films out there about recording music and about performing music and talking about music, but seeing someone who we know as a master at it, like an Elvis Costello, having to take a page of lyrics and figure out how to turn it into something that would honor Bob Dylan, that's a task that can bring some anxiety to the best of them. So for me, that was the interesting part, was seeing someone like Elvis Costello try to write a song that maybe Dylan would like, that he would approve of.
One of the parts I enjoyed most was seeing someone like Marcus, and you see how he's struggling, and he's just sitting there with writer's block, and you can see his confidence kind of spiral. And I thought that was really, really interesting.
What I learned about Marcus and really respect about him is that he didn't just go through trying to pick the best lyrics, the ones that seem like, oh, this will be the hit because that's such a great chorus or whatever. He looked for words that he really could relate to and make his own. And so when he finally did break through that writer's block, he came out with something that sounded so personal and so immediately like a classic song.
Right. When does the album come out?
So the album comes out November 11th, and then 10 days later, on the 21st, the film comes out on Showtime. And which will be nice, because I think that whether you find the album first or you find the film first, they really complement each other. If you just hear the music, you don't understand the way that these artists had to work together and how quickly they made it.
1, 2, 3.
T-Bone called me in and told me that he had these unpublished Dylan lyrics from the time of the Basement tapes. I said, what are they like?
I listen to you time and time again.
Here's some lyrics for your songs. Bob Dylan wrote them. No big deal.
Just what's right. Going back to
In the next 24 hours, I'm going to have to write a song. I'm scared.
How could we possibly not be a band and then all of a sudden be a band, and not only that, but make a record in 2 weeks?
Each song, I put every ounce and heart and everything into it.
A film from director Sam Jones, featuring a new and exclusive interview with Bob Dylan.
And I just wrote what I felt like writing.
What is a song? A song is limitless. Flawless. 0 mistakes.